Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something super hot and super important that anyone who loves to travel needs to know. 5 big changes in the travel industry in 2025. It might sound a bit fancy, but honestly, since mid-2025, the travel world has been shifting like crazy. And these changes, they're not small potatoes, they directly affect your wallet, your time, and even how comfy you feel on your trips. You know what? If we don't prepare ahead and get a grip on these updates, our dream vacations could turn into nightmares just because we're missing some paperwork or hit unnecessary snags. I've heard stories from friends who were halfway to their destination when they realized there was a new rule and they had to turn back. Total waste of money and effort. So, I'm making this video today to help you figure it all out, save some time and cash, and most importantly, cut down on the stress. Who doesn't want to travel all chill and relaxed, right? In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 most important changes that every traveler, whether you're a first-timer or a pro, needs to know about in 2025. We're talking paperwork, visas, and even some cool tips to make your trip smoother. Oh, and heads up, these changes don't just apply to Americans. They'll also impact travelers from Canada, Australia, and tons of other places. So relax, watch till the end, and you'll walk away with a bunch of handy info. Ready? Let's dive in. Change 1 ETA for US citizens traveling to the UK. First up, I want to talk about a change that Americans need to watch out for if they're planning to visit the UK. Starting January 8, 2025, US citizens will need something called an ETA, short for Electronic Travel Authorization. Sounds kind of weird, right? But don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Back in the day, if you were American, you could just grab your passport and hop on a flight to the UK. No visa, no fuss. But starting in 2025, the UK is switching things up. They want tighter control over who's coming in, so now you've got to apply for this ETA online before you go. It might sound like a hassle, but honestly the process is super quick and easy. You just head to the official UK government website, fill in your personal details and passport info, pay a small fee, I think it's around £10, and then wait. Most people get approved in like 30 minutes, sometimes even faster. Once you've got it, the ETA is good for 2 years so you can visit the UK as many times as you want in that time, as long as you don't stay longer than 6 months per trip. I think it's pretty convenient because it's not a full-on visa, no interviews or piles of paperwork required. But here's the big thing, you've got to apply for it before booking your flight or hotel. If you don't, you might get stuck at the airport, denied boarding. Total buzzkill. I heard about someone who forgot this step, freaked out at check-in, and had to apply for the ETA right there. They got lucky and made it, but not everyone will. Better to play it safe and sort it out ahead of time. Oh, and it's not just Americans. Folks from places like Canada and Australia have to do this too if they're heading to the UK. So if you've got friends abroad planning a UK trip with you, give them a heads up so they don't miss it. Bottom line, starting January 8, 2025, no ETA means no entry through UK customs. Prep early and you're golden, guys. Change to e-visa for US citizens traveling to Brazil. Next, I've got another update for Americans, this time about traveling to Brazil. If you're into Carnival, the Amazon rainforest, or Copacabana Beach, listen up. Starting April 10, 2025, US citizens will need an e-visa, yep, an electronic visa, to enter Brazil. In the past, the visa situation for Brazil was a bit of a mess for Americans. Sometimes you needed one, sometimes you didn't, depending on the rules at the time. But come mid-2025, Brazil's making it official. You've got to get an e-visa online before you go. It's kind of like the UK's ETA, but this is a proper visa, not just a travel permit. The process isn't too tough. You go to Brazil's official website, fill out your info, upload a passport photo, pay a fee, I think it's around $80. And then wait for approval. It usually takes a few days to process, but if you're in a rush, you can pay extra for expedited service and get it in 24 to 48 hours. I like that you don't have to visit a consulate or mail your passport anywhere, it's all online. But here's the catch: double check your details before submitting. If there's a mistake, like a typo in your passport number or name, customs won't let you in when you land. I've read online about people getting turned away over something as small as one wrong letter in their name. Scary stuff. I haven't seen an exact announcement on how long the e-visa lasts, But typically, Brazil's tourist visas for Americans are good for 90 days within a one-year period. So if you're planning a Brazil trip from April 2025 onward, get on it early, and apply for that e-visa at least 1 to 2 weeks ahead to avoid any last-minute stress. No e-visa? You'll be stuck watching Brazil from afar, and that'd be such a shame. Moving on to change number 3. This one's for Americans again, and I think it's seriously awesome. Starting in 2025, you can renew your US passport online. No more mailing stuff or waiting in lines at some office. How cool is that? Before, whenever my passport was about to expire, I'd have to photocopy documents, fill out forms, send everything through the mail and wait a whole month. But now, the US government's upgraded to an online system. You just go to their official site, upload a photo, enter your info, pay with a credit card, and you're done. It sounds simple, but heads up. Once you submit your renewal online, your old passport becomes invalid right away. So until the new one arrives, you can't use the old one to travel anywhere. If you've got a trip coming up, plan your timing carefully. They say processing takes 4 to 6 weeks, but I've heard from friends who've tried it that it can sometimes take just 10 days, depending on how many applications they're handling. Need it faster? You can pay extra for expedited service and get your new passport in 1 to 2 weeks. I love how this saves so much time. No need to take a day off or run around. Just make sure your photo meets the rules. White background, no glasses, no big grins, or they'll reject it. Another neat thing, after it's done, they mail you the new passport and they'll send back your old one too, punched with holes so you can't use it anymore. I like keeping my old passports as souvenirs. They're full of stamps from past trips and it's fun to look back. So if your passport's expiring soon, give this online renewal a shot. It's quick and way less tiring. Change number 4 is something Americans flying domestically need to pay close attention to: Real ID. Starting May 7th, 2025. If you're over 18 and want to board a domestic flight in the US, you'll need a Real ID. No Real ID? You're stuck watching planes take off without you. So what's a Real ID? In simple terms, it's a more secure form of ID that's approved by the federal government to verify who you are. Before, your regular driver's license or state ID was fine for domestic flights, but from 2025, if it's not a Real ID, it's no good. How do you check? Look at the top right corner of your driver's license or state ID. If there's a little star, you've got a Real ID. Some states like New York and Michigan also offer enhanced driver's licenses, which work too. No need for a separate Real ID. What if you don't have one? No panic. You can still use a US passport, global entry card, or military ID instead. But honestly, who wants to lug a passport around for a domestic flight? So if you don't have a Real ID yet, get on it now. It's not hard. You go to your state's DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, bring your passport, social security card, and 2 proofs of address like utility bills or a lease. The fee varies by state, usually $20 to $50, and you're set. I think Real ID matters because it tightens up security, especially after some chaotic airport incidents in the past, but keep in mind it's only for domestic flights. Going abroad still requires a passport, so if you're always flying within the United States, say Cali to New York or Texas to Florida, don't wait till the last minute or you might miss your flight. The last change, and the biggest for international travelers, is ETIAS. Starting mid-2025, the Schengen area in Europe will roll out this system. Sound unfamiliar? Let me break it down. ETIAS stands for European Travel Information and Authorization System. It's for travelers from visa-exempt countries like the United States, Canada, and Australia heading to the Schengen zone. You know, that border-free area with 26 countries like France, Italy, Spain, Germany, and more. Up till now, you could just show up with your passport and waltz in, but from 2025 you'll need an ETIAS to get through the gate. What's it all about? It's like a pre-trip screening to boost security and manage visitors better. Applying is a breeze. You go to the official ETIAS website, fill in your passport details, pay €7, about $8, and wait for approval. Kids under 18 and folks over 70 get it free. It's super fast. Usually approved in minutes, max 24 hours. The ETIAS lasts 3 years, or until your passport expires, whichever comes first. I like that it's not a complicated visa, just a quick check. But don't forget to apply before you go, or you'll be stuck at the airport over there. They won't let you in. Schengen countries are strict about entry rules, so prepping well is the safest bet. On top of those 5 changes, I've got some good news too. First, a new U.S. Department of Transportation (DOT) rule starting in 2025, if your flight gets canceled or majorly changed, like delayed over 3 hours domestically, 6 hours internationally, or switched airports, the airline has to refund you automatically, no asking required. Cash or original payment method even if it's a weather delay. That's huge. Airlines used to wiggle out of refunds, but not anymore. Also, if your bags are delayed, over 12 hours domestically, 15 to 30 hours internationally, you'll get your baggage fee back if you file a report. Keep your receipts and report it to the airline ASAP. Second bit of good news, Apple's teaming up with airlines. If you use an AirTag to track your luggage, there's a new Share Item Location feature in the Find My app. Open the app, generate a location link for your AirTag, send it to the airline, and they'll help find your stuff. Over 15 big airlines like Delta and United are rolling this out in 2025, so lost luggage is less of a headache. So there you go, I've just covered the 5 big changes in travel for 2025, plus some bonus good news. From ETA and e-visas to Real ID and ETIAS, they all make your trips safer and smoother as long as you're prepared. And for Americans, renewing your passport online is a game changer. Quick, easy, no more waiting around. Want the full scoop on online passport renewal? I've linked a detailed video in the description. Check it out. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss more travel tips. Oh, and swing by the resource link in the description and peek at some products in the YouTube shopping cart too. Wishing you safe and fun travels in 2025. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.